news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Here's the give.
Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught!
Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good thirsty Thursday morning to you. It is the 21st day of December, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. Say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well at BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to that to find our website. XBMornings at gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
How are we on this Thursday?
Doing well. Doing
Any
better
big
than the Red
plans?
Wings.
Oh, man, the Wings.
Yeah.
Dude, what is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. As far as big plans, no. Meeting up with my dad's family Saturday and then my mom's family on Sunday.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then do you have to do Christmas Day like at the fiance's?
No, we're doing the weekend after. We're not actually meeting up until January 6th, so we have Christmas Day to ourselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be really nice. Good for you.
Yep.
It's nice and relaxing. Get up at your own pace. Don't have to stress out about anything. Maybe make breakfast. Oh,
right.
now you're talking. That's good, man. I like that. Like that a lot. So, well, that'll be a good time. That'll be a lot of fun. I don't even know what day is Christmas. Monday.
Yes.
Jeez,
correct.
Louise, I'm telling you, I am ill prepared to say the least.
Yeah, I still haven't finalized my my shopping.
You know, was it last week where I was like, "Hey, everybody, Christmas is 10 days away."
Yeah.
Good for you, Anthony. Good for you. Like a idiot. Oh man, there's just no time. It's too difficult right now.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Like, it is what it is. We're all adults now, luckily, so that's a positive, and we'll we'll try to move forward the best way that we can, and get all this done. Red Wings, no early Christmas gift for us last night.
No,
as they lost to Winnipeg. Now losers of 7 of their last 8. Ugh. I saw our buddy Justin Rose tweeting out last night, like, "Hey guys, are the Red Wings bad again?" And to be honest with you, it's like legitimately, that's a good question. It's a really good question. Like, I don't think that Lalonde's going to let the entire ship sink, but they got to figure out a way to get this team up and moving here, because this is a really, really bad run right here that it's not gonna, I don't want to say it's gonna damn them, but dude, you can't get some of these games back, and some of these are against winnable teams. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit more concerning. More on the Wings coming up. We're gonna get to the rest of those the Chip Kelly comments and discussions. Signing day grades for the top 25 have come out according to 24/7 Sports. Also, take a look at the Big Ten. Look, it's signing day. You know how I am about this. I don't get into the whole recruiting thing. It doesn't do anything for me. I know that there is a correlation between the talent that you get and the coaching that you have. That's what I know for certain. I know that Texas A&M had a whole bunch of 5 stars and never did anything with it. I know that Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, they get 5-star guys, and it's Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, right? So this is one of the things where I think that the current pay-for-play NIL, I hate calling it NIL too. I can't stand calling it NIL because it's got nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. This is all purely pay-for-play. And so, like, the fact that we have to walk around saying this guy's got an NIL valuation of $70,000, or this guy's NIL deals are coming in, or they're working on NIL right now, like, it's such a crock. That's why we need a salary cap so that everyone can play on a level playing field. And then you can really figure out who can coach or not. It's one thing if you're all, and that's not a shot at Kirby Smart or Nick Saban or anything like that, but there are some coaches. You guys got some really good 5-star players, and that expectation is pretty crazy. But that should have to be sprinkled around a little bit. You know what I mean? So, but we'll talk about it. I know that although it doesn't really interest me, it does do a lot for a lot of college football fans. They love this stuff. They get into it every cycle, so we'll talk about it. That's for sure. And how about yesterday on National Signing Day for the early signing period, or whatever the hell that was? We have Michigan getting notified of their notice of allegations from the NCAA, and wow, really good timing. Just happened to be coincidental there. They just happened to wait until one of the bigger days in the sports calendars to release that information. So if that doesn't immediately raise your eyebrows there, then I don't know what does. But typical NCAA at this point. I know that's going to bother people that I say that, but look, I would say that if that would have happened to Mel Tucker. That is not the time nor the place. You've had all this time between the Big Ten championship game and National Signing Day, and you chose that day, like, okay, all right. No, I mean, it's glaringly obvious at this point. And, look, I would have said the same thing if it was Mel Tucker. I still have my questions about that no one's answered yet. It's like it just disappeared. He just disappeared. But my question will remain the same until I see it. I want to know what she sent him. It's not a problem for me to ask that. It's not bad. It doesn't. I just want to know. That's it. That's it. Just let me know. And when I see it and I can come to a better conclusion of what took place, when I have more evidence at my disposal, then I'll be able to make a better judgment. But until then, for everybody who wants to just throw Mel Tucker under the bus, like, I still have some questions floating around out there. That doesn't mean I'm defending him. Not necessarily. But I would like to know. I know that much. So that's at least where I stand on the NCAA. Like, something stinks. And it wouldn't matter what coach this was happening to. I'm telling you this right now. That is not at all coincidental. It's just not. So, all right. We're going to step aside. When we return, we'll talk Red Wings hockey. This is it's getting concerning. It is getting concerning what's taking place there. We'll talk about their loss to Winnipeg. Less than ideal. That much is for certain. And we still have no word yet on Yamamoto, the Japanese ace who is going to come over here and change the game. We have yet to, we still don't know where he's going to go. Buster Olney says it's a battle between the Mets and the Yankees. If that's the case, you sign with the Yankees. Duh. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw, every Saturday in December. Select the lucky ornament from the holiday tree for the chance to take home your share of over $400,000 in prizes. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw, every Saturday in December, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports and Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. A reminder, golf season may have come to a close, but our buddy Matt Golden and his great team over at Tullymore Golf Resort still ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. And best of all, even if you don't golf, Tullymore still has a perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. That's right, and it's never too early to start thinking about 2024's golf trip as well. So visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. All right, welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. This is a man. You know, last night's a tough night. So first off, you know, I'm trying to keep track last night, and those nights are always difficult because of my work responsibilities. I had Toledo versus Vermont last night. Do you know what Vermont's mascot is? Anybody? If any idea? If I said Vermont, I don't even know if they're Vermont University or University of Vermont. I have no idea which one. But their nickname is the Catamounts. I don't even know what a catamount is. It sounds like an insect, but apparently it is like a medium sized. Is it a mid sized like mountain lion? Kind of, sort of. I don't know. So I had Vermont versus Toledo. And, you know, Vermont comes in at like 147th in KenPom rankings. And I like, you know, I'm a pretty big, I like to watch that stuff. You know, KenPom, and there's no way Toledo loses that game by 26 points last night. There's no way. But that's what happened, 86-60. And the one question I had that nobody seemed to have an answer to is UT's got a guy by the name of Raheem Moss. Got a lot of go, plays a lot of fire, right? Plays a lot of energy, a lot of juice there for that young man. He had none of that last night. And I was like, yo, is he sick? Does he have mono? Like, what? Is there something wrong with him? Like, what's going on here? Like, he just didn't, you know, from warm-ups to opening tip-off to, like, he didn't look like himself. I can tell you that much. He didn't. Something's wrong. So sinus infection, viral infection, whatever the case, I don't know what it is, but he was not himself. And it's that time of year. There's a lot of colds going around. You know, do we need to get him some, you know, chicken soup at halftime? I don't know. But that was ugly for 147 to come on the road and just brutal. That was like I don't know if it was wire to wire, but it might have been. It might have been. I think Toledo might have gotten the first basket. Let me double check real quick now that I'm. But the point, yeah, we did get the first basket. We were up 2-0. They took a 4-2 lead and they never looked back. They took a 4-2 lead on the road, a minute and a half into the game, and then just completely dominated for 38 and a half minutes. I mean, it was just. So I'm there and I'm watching that and I'm working. I'm doing that. Obviously, that's where I'm working. So that's the priority. Win by 1 or 100, lose by 1 or 100. You know, maintain the same. Be a professional. Do what it is. And so I'm trying to keep track of the Red Wings game while that's taking place, right? And okay, 1-0 after the first period. Nah, you know, okay, all right. You know, at least it wasn't an early 1-0. They give up a goal late there in the first 15:38 into it. Like, okay, that's fine. Ali Mata gets his first goal of the season in the second period. We're all tied up. And then 3 consecutive goals. 3 straight from Winnipeg. And as I said yesterday, I believe in Derek Lalonde, right? I'm not going to question him. Patrick Kane got his second goal of the season. That's a lot of fun. James Reimer made 36 saves on 41 shots. We only tested their goaltender 28 times. And without being able to watch it, you know, I don't really feel like I can give a real fair assessment of what took place last night. But I will tell you this much. I wish that they would win so I could get back to what I like to do when we talk about, you know, the Detroit Red Wings, is I like to go through the game. I like to play all the goal call highlights because I think it's fun. It's radio, and I think radio is built for It's like the human highlight reel, if you will. It's built for sound, built for those clips. And I like to do that. And I like to go through and, paint the picture of what happened with the game and play the highlights and the goal calls. And I enjoy that. I think it's fun for radio. I don't know of anybody else who does it like that, and I just really like it. Well, down 1-0, feeling pretty good. Not ready to get all fat and sassy, but feeling pretty good. And then we had this.
And they end up getting a good opportunity.
Red Wings control the draw on a planned play and a quick up here for Kopp. Kopp over to Kane. Coming late. Mata took the shot. He scores! Holy Mata! Holy cow! And it's 1-1.
What if you would have said holy Mata? That would have been pretty good. 1-1. You feel good. It's 3-1. It's 4-1. The wheels are coming off the bus. The winged wheels are coming off the bus, folks. And eventually, Patrick Kane, his second of the season, down 4-1, third period, about midway through.
Who gives it to Larkin? Tipped ahead for Kane. Sider joining. There's Larkin firing. Save made. Kane rebound scores. Patrick Kane off the rebound from Dylan Larkin. Still more than half a period to go. And it's 4-2. The 50th point.
You can hear it in Ked's voice. He's like, all right, hey, still halfway to go. You're saying there's a chance. Boom, 5-2. Sad to say the least because, now we're in this position to where, as I said yesterday, and Winnipeg takes the season series. They won 4-1 in game 1, which was back in October. This is game 2 here. 5-2, it's over. They win. We lose. Detroit now, this is the most concerning part, is 2 games under 500. And Winnipeg is first in the Central, so I'll give them their due credit there. They're ahead of Dallas, ahead of Colorado. Okay, that's fine. But Detroit, I feel, has the Red Wings have taken a golden opportunity right now based on some of the level of the competition after those 3 straight Blackhawks, Canadiens, and Sabres. To lose those 3 games, the Sharks, Senators, and Stars, that never should have happened. That never should have happened. 6-5, 5-1, 6-3, like, holy jumping. It's a lot of goals against. You lose the Hurricanes 2-1. You lose the Flyers 1-0. Okay. You're not going to win when you're giving up a loss 5-2, a loss 4-3, a loss 6-3. 6-5, 5-1. You see what I'm saying here? Like, out of all of their losses recently, which are 7 of their last 8, in only 2 games have they given up 2 goals or less. 6, 5, 4. I mean, my goodness. Gentlemen, we need to have a come to Jesus moment here. They got to get their head screwed on straight, and they got to do it quick. Really quick. Because at 32 games played, you have one of the higher numbers. Only Tampa Bay has played more games out of any team in the Eastern Conference. They've played 33. The Wings have played 32. The Sabres have played 33. Florida's played 31. Point being is that you're running out of opportunities right now. And you're only 10 points back of the Boston Bruins. Like, that's not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination as long as you get off 3 and 4 game losing streaks. It's just terrible. Like the Arizona Coyotes, just, for comparative purposes here. The Arizona Coyotes, if you're a hockey fan, you know where I'm going with this, have as many points as the Detroit Red Wings right now. The Wings are 15, 13, and 4, a.k.a. 15 and 17. You're 4 points back of Florida for third in the Eastern Conference. I'm not necessarily worried about Lalone here, but I am worried about this team because they are trending in the wrong direction right now. The midway point of the season, they got to find a way to stop the bleeding. And, by the way, they're back in action tomorrow against who? Philadelphia. And that game will be at home at Little Caesars Arena. We'll step aside. We shall return. Chip Kelly's comments make way too much sense. We'll be back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable. 24/7 support. You can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Okay, so I want to pick back up a little bit where we left off yesterday morning on Chip Kelly and what Chip Kelly is talking about. And Chip Kelly was asked a question about NIL, and with signing day happening, I think that this is very important because what we're seeing here is almost an inability for the average fan to be able to keep up, right? So you have the early signing period, which is happening right now. Then you have signing day. And then you have your portal windows that are open where, kids can enter the portal and then they have to, try to figure out what their next move is going to be. So as a college coach, you are not only recruiting the high school level, you are now recruiting the portal as well. It's almost like you need a separate staff to be able to do that. But you take a look at the list of names that are in there. Who can you get? Where are they coming from? What do they do? What's the film? Why are they leaving? Like, that's an entire investigative situation all by itself. And what Chip Kelly is saying makes total sense. And I want to play this for you. I'm going to play it for you in its entirety. And then we're gonna come back and discuss this because this is exactly what I have been saying now for years on this program.
They're all a problem, and I think we need to have a conference commissioner. And I think football should be separate from the other sports. Just the fact that our school is leaving to go to the Big Ten in football, our softball team should be playing Arizona in softball. Our basketball team should be playing Arizona in basketball. But because football left, and they're saying, well, how do you do that? Well, Notre Dame's independent in football, and they're in a conference and everything else. I think we should all be independent in football. And you can have a 64-team conference that's in the Power 5, and you can have a 64-team conference in the Group of 5. And we separate it, and we play each other. You can have the West Coast teams, and then every year we play 7 games against the West Coast teams, and then we play the East. So we play Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, West Virginia. Then the next year you play against the South while you still play your 7 teams. You can play a 7-game schedule. You can play 4 against another division opponent, and you can always play against one Mountain West team every year so that we can still keep those rivalries going. Not that I've really thought about this. Not that I've a lot of spent time on this. But I think if you went together collectively as a group and said there's 132 teams and we all share the same TV contract, so that the Mountain West doesn't have one and the Sun Belt doesn't have another and SEC has one and they have another, that we all go together. That's a lot of games, and there's a lot of people in the TV world that would go through it. You can sponsor each one. Instead of calling it Group of 5 and Power 5, you can call it Amazon, Nike, bid that out to things. You do a lot of different things. But I think if we still do the same thing and take all that money, and I would do this, and I think this needs to be done, that money now needs to be shared with the student athletes, and there needs to be revenue sharing. The players should get paid, and you can get rid of NLI, and the schools should be paying the players because the players are what the product is. And the fact that they don't get paid is really the biggest travesty.
Wow. Chip Kelly hopping on board with a little bit more insight, a little bit more detail than what Jim Harbaugh has always been on the revenue sharing with the players. But Chip Kelly comes out here with a plan. Chip Kelly comes with a plan. And Kelly's solution, like conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, in the world that we're living in right now, I'm excited about UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington being in the Big Ten. It doesn't make sense logistically. It doesn't make sense logically. And to be honest with you, if we were to go the direction of Chip Kelly and reorganize, because that's what we need a reorganization of college sports. Kelly said also the fact that there's not going to be a Pac-12 next year, the fact that Washington State is not going to be in a conference next year, and that Oregon State is not going to be in a conference next year, we failed. At least you're honest about it. At least you're honest about it. Now, I don't know if one television contract works. I understand what he is saying in trying to keep, the group of five in the mix here. I don't know if you separate the two, group of five probably has their own TV deal. Much like the USFL or the XFL had their own TV deal along with the NFL, which was completely separate. The TV deal that is included with Power 5 football, right, has to include all of the big boy networks that we currently see, right? So you have ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS. Obviously, under the ABC window is ESPN. If you want some stuff on the CW, whatever. I know that Hoops is coming up on the CW. Like, that's kind of strange. But you also have, like, NBC Sports, CBS Sports. You have ESPNU. Like, you've got Fox Sports 1. You've got all of these different networks, sports affiliated stations. So there's plenty of places to house all of these games. And then you have the streams as well. Your ESPN Plus, your Paramount Plus, your Peacock, if you're interested in something like that. Me, you're not getting me on any subscriptions, kids. But I say all of that to say this. Chip Kelly said you have a 64-team conference that's in the Power 5 and a 64-team conference in a group of 5. And we can separate it and play each other. This makes total sense. This makes total sense. It should not be this difficult. Well, what do you mean with 64? Well, 64, think about it and put it all in plain terms, right? Break it down regionally. So if the Pac-12 dissolves, which it is, if you have 64 teams in your conference, or 64 teams in your league, if you will, your division, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have to go with league for the time being because it's going to get confusing. You have 16 teams per conference in this league. 4 conferences that we have right now, although you could always bring the Pac-12 back, that's fine. This Big Ten experiment could be, a handful of years before we get everything under control. You could have 16 teams in each conference in 2 divisions of 8 teams within each conference. Now, some of you are like, well, wait a minute. We just moved away from divisions. Like, what in the hell? I understand. And it's not going to be a perfect solution. However, what happens when you get the name, image, and likeness, or when you get this pay for play under control, and you have one television contract for the Power 5, right? We'll just call it the Power 5 for the time being because it still is until the Pac-12 dissolves. We could say Power 4, whatever. If you get one television contract and then you split the revenue, now you have a salary cap, which is absolutely what needs to happen. This isn't Major League Baseball, and it's exactly what MLB has become. The difference is that when you have the best athletes, you can afford to pay the best players, you are literally leaving teams out from being competitive. That much is for certain. But, for all intents and purposes, if Purdue has to spend, and Michigan has to spend, and Michigan State has to spend, and Indiana has to spend $5 million, let's say. That's what it boils down to. That's what you can pay in your players across your roster. Now, we're starting to get our roster number under control, right? And a good friend of mine is an associate AD at a MAC school, and he's all about the student-athlete experience. Like, he's all in on that. And I'm like, dude, that's fine. You can be, but we're not showing up to watch track and field. So you got to get that out of your mind because that's not – you say it's not fair that football gets everything. Show me how much money the rest of your sports bring in, and then show me what football brings in. Okay? This idea that there is, and I get in Twitter arguments. There's one specific guy that loves to argue me on Twitter about this. Dude, you're talking about products that don't sell. Period. It would be like you walking in with a side of beef to a vegan community. It won't sell. So if it doesn't sell, you're not going to make any money. And whose fault is that? It's your fault. Like, you're trying to sell beef to vegans. It doesn't work. Last Saturday, John Wagner talked about this. Last Saturday, the day that Michigan State beat Baylor, the television ratings, and I didn't know this till John brought it up, the television ratings for that day were absolutely disgusting. With the matchups that we had in college basketball, that they were outviewed by the bowl games that were on. Bowl games that aren't of any significance whatsoever. I swear. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I could not believe it. I was shocked. Like, it is football, and that's what it is, man. And then there's everything else. You know, if you were thinking about trying to compare this in any other way, it's literally, it's impossible. It truly is impossible. Because when we go back to Saturday the 16th, which is the day in question, right? Sports Media Watch puts these out every week. Or they do it by sport, they do it by everything. You're talking about the biggest games being Pittsburgh, Indianapolis was the number one highest rated program. Denver versus Detroit. Then Minnesota, Cincinnati. NFL Game Day Kickoff on NFL Network was the fourth highest rated program. Then basketball, North Carolina versus Kentucky was massive. That was the highest rated college basketball game. They had a 1.3 rating. UCLA versus Boise State in the LA Bowl had a 1.4 rating and had just a few, like 10,000 less viewers than North Carolina, Kentucky. Miami, Ohio versus App State. Howard versus Florida A&M. Those football games individually, both of them, outdrew Kansas at Indiana in basketball, UCLA, Ohio State in basketball, the PNC Championship in golf, UFC, like, incredible. That's incredible. And so when we look at this, we need to understand that you are dealing with the number one selling product in the country. There's football, and then there's everything else. So what Chip Kelly is trying to tell you is that, yes, you need to separate the two. There's football, and there's everything else. Yes, he's right. All of the other sports should be in conferences that regionally make sense from a travel perspective. I like the idea of being able to have a loaded schedule next year for Michigan that includes Texas and USC and Oregon and Washington and Michigan State and Ohio State. They have a better schedule in 2024 upcoming than we've had the last 3 years. That's all we want. I am not afraid of these games. I do not want to play ECU. It doesn't do anything for me as a fan. Ryan is on the line right now. Ryan, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everything is what's happening with college football. It's all broken. Because I was just thinking yesterday, it's National Signing Day. You see transfer portal kids going everywhere. And it makes zero sense of why it's happening on December 20th. It's like, what if the week between the Super Bowl and the end of the conference championships, what if the NFL is just like, hey, you know what? We're doing free agency that week.
Be the dumbest thing ever. Why would they do that?
Well, that's when free agency happens. Like, oh, by the way, the teams that are in the Super Bowl, none of your guys have to make the decision now if they want to play in the Super Bowl or if they want to go test free agency. Like, it makes zero sense for teams that haven't played bowl games, for the teams in the playoff that haven't, they're trying to focus on winning a championship. By the way, they have to sign all their kids. They have to help keep their kids in the portal. And the kids that are on playoff teams are like, hey, maybe I want to test the portal. By the way, you have to abandon your team during a postseason run.
You are absolutely correct. That is a really good analogy there because that's exactly what it is.
Because at some point, you do have to say, this is too much for the head coaches to handle with this timeline. Oh, they get paid a lot of money. Yeah, but you're offering them no help.
And
this is something the NCAA can actually control, is the timeline of dates when things happen.
Yeah, I think that this idea here, and the tough part about these sports is you are typically recruiting when the season is going on. And what I mean by that, it's already a very difficult juggle for coaches who are trying to coach their own team. And, oh, by the way, we got to go watch tape on these kids of who we want to bring in because their season's happening right now, right? And so it's already a ridiculous 12-hour plus job a day as you're trying to prepare for your upcoming opponent every week throughout the course of the regular season. I think that you are 100% correct. The NCAA needs to take a step back and look at the calendar as a whole and say, you know what has worked in the past no longer works today, and that's okay, right? We can now take our wheel that was carved out of stone and we can make a rubber tire out of it, right? We can evolve. I'm with you here. None of this should be done until the completion of the season. That's when the portal window should open up so you can continue to play in your bowl game with your team. The portal window should not be opened up until after the national championship game. National Signing 100%. Day. Would you put National Signing Day prior to the portal window or after? Because that's kind of a pivotal question here, and I want to know what you think.
I would put it the second the championship game is done. That's when the portal opens, and it can stay open till a week after regular signing day, which is early February. Abolish early signing day.
Good with that.
Because the coach, again, this is actually to benefit all these coaches, because just thinking of what Jim Harbaugh has to do right now. He has to try to, ask some players on the team, hey, are you going? And try to not feel like you're peer pressuring, kids of, you going to abandon us? Because it's an unfair question to both parties to be like, what are you feeling? By the way, you're also trying to prepare for a championship game, and you're having to go out, spend your time on the road recruiting high school kids. Let the product be the product, because this is one thing the NFL does right and why the NFL stays king, because everything they do is an event and it doesn't overshadow itself.
Imagine if National Signing Day had a program that at the end of the night was very much draft-esque, where they did studio or they were on location, something like that. When you talk about having
to be.
Right, you have
it used to be February. Remember sitting down watching ESPNU, in February, and they're just doing live look-ins at all these kids doing the signings, and so it wasn't this mystery. It was just the hats on the table, and hey, we're breaking down we're showing the top 15 recruits, picking their team. But
and now look at it. It's just a hodgepodge mess. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
When you shop Meijer, there's no shipping needed. Snow days or shipping delays won't stop us. Get gifts under the tree today when you shop thousands of items ready for pickup in-store today. Plus, get a $15 coupon when you spend $150 or more this week in store. Coupon printed at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Get everything you need for the holidays in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine, Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. So great to be riding along with you, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000, Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. Good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN and Michigan Sports Network on the old YouTube there. By the way, guy Paul was in the store the other day. And good old Paul came in. He said, I watch every morning. So does my brother. I said, you do? He said, yeah, the problem is I haven't been able to watch lately. I said, well, that's okay. You can tune us in on the radio where you're at, or iHeartRadio app. You can put us in your pocket. And he's like, well, the problem is that in the morning I would wake up and I would watch the show on BCSN. And he's like, then I would just continue to watch all throughout the day, all the different programs. And the next thing you know, I haven't got any work done. And I said, well, you don't really have to really start work until 9 a.m., right? So once we're off the air, that's how you know you can start your day. But just put us on as background noise, and we'll be like your unofficial alarm clock. That last commercial break hits, boom, you can get ready to go to work. So that's kind of fun, right? Shout out to Paul for viewing. The amount of comments I get like that in the grocery store is great. It is that season. Be a good consumer. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. No big diatribe or monologue today for you. Just kind of is what it is. Everybody's got food ordered. It's a great time. To be in the food industry. There's a lot going on, and look, we're happy to be at your dinner table with you, and that's what I got for you. Nobody has Jet Puff marshmallow cream, though. Nobody has that. Like, nobody. The distributors don't have it. Stores don't have it. We don't have it. Like, nobody's got it. I know it's a really random thing to run out of, but nobody. It's like if you have Jet Puff marshmallow cream, and you're within an hour of Monroe, Michigan, hit me up and let me know. I will come to you if you have the Jet Puff, and I'm not coming out there for one. I'm gonna need multiple cases. But if you got it, store that. I will come to you and get it. No problem, no questions asked, because we use stuff like that for our fruit dips and whatnot. So my mom calls me yesterday. And she's like, "Hey, on your way up here, can you stop anywhere and see if anybody's got this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I went to 5 stores yesterday on my way up. Nothing. Nobody. Shelves empty. I'm like, my goodness. I was like, I'm going to have to put an APB out on the radio, which I think is really funny because there is a company who requested some things from us on the radio side. And I was trying to tell one of the account representatives, like, I work in the grocery business, right? I don't think they get it. I don't think they understand. So I'm going to do a little bit more further in detail here. But they were like, where can we ship this to? And I just gave them the store's address. Just ship it there. Ship it there. We already carry their products. Like I like you're telling me about something that I've already eaten. Like you don't have to sell me on trying to endorse this. Like, it's good stuff. Like, it's not. I'll eat this regularly. So it's easy. Like, yeah, anything that's food related. Why would you not come right to your boy? I'll tell you right off the rip. Now, I'm not going to put my name on everything. If I don't actually eat it, if I don't actually use it, then if I'm not actually interested in it, then I'm not gonna be a total sellout. Like, when somebody approached me about driving a specific vehicle, like, hey, would you be interested in doing this ad for this car? I was like, I don't drive that kind of car, though. They're like, well, and I'm like, well, I can't say that I drive the car if I don't drive the car. Like, that's it's a principle thing. So, you trust your boy, All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories in the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Huge news. The Detroit Red Wings lost again. Oh, no. Yes. They're now losers of 4 straight in 7 of their last 8 games. They fell last night to the Winnipeg Jets 5-2. Ali Mata, Patrick Kane were your only goal scorers for the Winged Wheel, and not great, folks. Not great at all. I'm not going to hit the panic button. They have another opportunity to get back out there at home against the Philadelphia Flyers. That'll be a 7 o'clock puck drop there in LCA. That would be a really nice one to win. Just throwing that out there. If you guys want to mess around and win a game or two, that's a good start right there. The underdog Ravens feel disrespected ahead of the 49ers showdown. I think this is too much. Kyle Hamilton said we feel a little disrespected by that. I feel like we're the best team in the league. We have an opportunity in front of the country to show it. You're 11-3. You're 5.5-point underdogs against the 11-3 San Francisco 49ers. This would be the second largest underdog role of quarterback Lamar Jackson's 6-year career. He was a 7-point dog to the Chiefs back in 2018. Guess what? Ravens lost. It was his 4th career start, though. I really don't know, like, oh, you guys are the underdog. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't think that San Francisco would be the favorite. I don't know. First off, I don't like even talking about this with NFL players. But if you're going to talk about it, you guys know you're the underdog. And, yeah, you're on the road, so there's 3 points right there. And they're saying if you played on a neutral field, San Francisco would be a 2.5-point favorite. I get it. Like, whatever it takes to motivate yourself. But, yeah, we're gonna see about Baltimore. That's a massive, massive football game coming up for a lot of different reasons. Baltimore, San Francisco, Monday Night Football. And if you are a Lions fan, I'm interested in San Francisco losing that. Let's give them 4 losses, just like we have 4 losses. And that way, when we beat the Vikings this week, we can move on up the old rankings there. Ben Simmons will not return to the Brooklyn Nets until at least January because of a pinched nerve in his lower back. I am so tired of this guy, Ben Simmons, that, like, why is he even on a roster? Why are you paying him? He doesn't do anything for you. What is the purpose? The Rockets' Dylan Brooks and Ime Udoka have both been fined for language towards officials. Brooks was fined $35,000 for publicly criticizing the officiating. Udoka was fined $25,000. Both were ejected about 38 seconds remaining in the game for arguing a flopping call on Brooks. It was a 128-119 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks on Sunday. Quote, I'm sick of the refs being right in front of the play and not making the calls, then compiling it with a bailout call like a flop. I ran full speed to get the ball after I made a great play on trying to get a steal. 2 hands are on me. After that, I'm throwing the ball, trying to protect myself, and falling into whatever that was, into the fans or the bottom of the floor, either one. I'm trying to protect myself. And then on top of that, he wants to call a flop with a minute left. That doesn't make sense. You got a bad attitude and a bad reputation, so I don't know what else to tell you. Judge is not ready to hand down a ruling in the Ja Morant immunity hearing. So although he was back on the court because that's what the NBA cares about, a Tennessee judge on Wednesday said that she won't immediately hand down a ruling on whether or not Ja Morant's legal team successfully argued that he is immune from being sued by a teenager that he punched during a pickup game in 2022. Shelby County Circuit Court Judge Carol Chumney said she needed more time due to the lack of case precedent surrounding the lawsuit. Everybody was hoping for a big decision or finality or something like that. These are important legal issues. Wednesday's court session was a continuation of the hearing that began on December 11th, centered around Morant's motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Wait a minute. Is that the kid? Is that the kid that he punched, or is that the kid that he flashed his pistol at? But don't worry, because he only got 25 game suspension from the NBA, because that's what the NBA cares about. Just get the players back out there. It doesn't matter what they do. Just get it back out there. NHL has agreed to 11 teams' local broadcasts on Bally Sports. How about that? The company said in financial filing last year that it had a debt of $8.67 billion. This agreement is subject to court approval. Wow. How about that? The agreement provides stability for the fans and the networks and teams after Major League Baseball had to take over broadcast for the Padres and the Diamondbacks last season. Currently on Bally, you have Anaheim, Carolina, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, L.A., Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. Diamond also reached the same type of agreement with the NBA for 15 teams under contract to the RSNs last month. So that's good news. We'll step aside. Back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw. Every Saturday in December, select a lucky ornament from the holiday tree for the chance to take home your share of over $400,000 in prizes. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw. Every Saturday in December, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us. Golf season has come to a close, but Matt Golden and his team still ready to welcome you to the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, with open arms. Canadian Lakes, located smack dab in the middle of the state, hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from, and could be the perfect stocking stuffer for the golfer in your life. That's right, folks. Check out all the great savings right now at TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com. Get that golfer in your life something special. Call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Never too early to start thinking and preparing for 2024 as well as we inch closer to the new year. My goodness, that's right. Next week at this time, holy mackerel, be hopping on a flight headed to the Rose Bowl. Oh, my goodness, that'll be fun. All right, so I wanted to, we've got a couple basketball games tonight that may be of interest to you. Michigan State is going to steamroll Stony Brook. There's no questions asked about this. The Spartans are kind of hitting their stride right now. They're 6-5 overall, 5-2 at home. This one's at home, 6:30 tip-off. We love that for Spartan fans and for all of the game day employees. That's awesome. Going to pick up their third consecutive win before they run into Indiana State. Don't sleep on Indiana State. And then they'll get Penn State after the new year. So they'll get that couple-day break before they begin the regular Big Ten Conference schedule. And Michigan State right now, trying to rally the troops a little bit off of that Baylor win. They come back and they respond really well against Oakland. And now with Stony Brook and Indiana State, they could really pick up some momentum headed into the Big Ten Conference schedule, where, with two Big Ten losses earlier, Nebraska by 7, Wisconsin by 13, Michigan State finds themselves at 6-5 overall and 0-2 in conference play at the bottom of the Big Ten standings. However, I don't believe that they're going to be there for long. That game against Baylor gave you a glimpse of what I think we all thought Michigan State was going to be from the jump. It just, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for teams to be able to figure it out. Now, what I wanted to bring up, and we also have the Pistons tonight later, more on that later against Utah. What I was interested in, though, however, is that with Michigan State, I understand the Spartan fans' frustration, right? And it's a culmination of things. It's not just basketball this year. It's more than that. Because I feel it a little bit with Michigan as well. See, as Michigan football was in their decline, right, prior to Jim Harbaugh getting hired, Michigan basketball under John Beilein had risen, right? And so it's like, okay, football season was but basketball season, hey, we can have something to look forward to. It's going to take, November, December, January, February, March, maybe even into April. So you got about 5 months plus of college basketball and a team you can really rally behind that has your colors and you're excited about. I get that. Then as the paradigm shifted in Ann Arbor, where football the last few years has gotten really good, basketball seems to have taken a step back the last couple of years. It's okay because you got to have one or the other. And then you can yell at your neighbor about you're a basketball school, football school, whatever. I don't care about any of that. Yell at your neighbor all you want. But I think the frustration from Spartan fans is that with the 11-2 year under Mel Tucker, the idea that football was going to return to the glory days of Coach D, and as football was kind of, trying to rally and begin that ascent up, basketball was still there. Basketball's never left, right? And if you are a college basketball fan, and if you enjoy your college basketball team, then football is kind of like, yeah, you want football to do well, but you get overly invested in basketball. And at the end of the day, you know that whether or not your football team is good or not, you still have basketball. It's like a safe space for you. Michigan State starts off this year kind of tough, and it only is magnified by what happened during the football season. And I know that a lot of Spartan fans are just kind of writing football season off like, oh, it's a one-off. We got a new coach. We're going to have a new team. It's going to take a couple of years, but we're starting over. And we feel pretty good about the direction that we're going to be at under the guidance of Jonathan Smith. Totally understandable, completely fair. Like, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of guys coming in from the West Coast. A lot of guys that were Oregon State commits that are coming over. Some people to be excited about. Got a transfer from the Farmington area who went to Wisconsin, who's going to transfer, and he's going to be in Spartan green and white. So that's a good thing. But I think that a level of concern was raised and a level of overall disdain was raised when that first loss to James Madison happened, and then the loss to Duke, and then Arizona, and then the couple of losses in Big Ten play. Like, those 5 losses there hurt Spartan fans because this was the one thing that was going to save this athletic season. And there is a belief that Tom Izzo, throughout his great Hall of Fame career, will get this ship back on track, right? He will be able to hoist the sails and steer this thing in the right direction. You have no reason to doubt that whatsoever because the proof is in the pudding. Look back over the last 26, 27 years and tell me when he hasn't been able to do it. So you have to believe, no matter what, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans are going to right the ship, that they are going to get on this miniature run that they're on right now to prepare for conference play, and that they're going to be able to challenge even though they're starting down in an 0-2 hole. There's only one undefeated team in the Big Ten right now. Or, pardon me, there's 4, but there's only one that's 2-0. That's Indiana. They should actually be 1-1. I don't want to talk about that Michigan game, whatever. Northwestern's 1-0, Illinois is 1-0, and Wisconsin is 1-0. The best team in the conference is actually 1-1, Purdue, who is 10-1 overall and is the number 1 team in the nation, and they're doing so not just because Zach Edey is tall, which is very, very important. They got a couple of sophomore guards there that have been sensational for them, and that's the way that it is. And so you have no reason to disbelieve or to not be faithful to Spartan hoops because you have all the evidence that you could ever need for a quarter of a century that the Izzo kids are going to figure it out. And you have that to believe in, right? It's just the beginning portion of the season. I asked the question. I didn't ask it out of spite. I asked it legitimately because you had already lost 5 games. You're 4-5 at this point. Your 4 wins were Southern Indiana, Butler, Alcorn State, in Georgia Southern. Your losses were the 2 conference games, Arizona, Duke, and James Madison. That is this the worst athletic year for a Michigan State Spartan fan that you remember, right? And most of it was, maybe, like most of the individual conversations. We have some Spartan fans that come in, and I love Mr. Piedmont, always comes in the grocery store. I always give him a lot of stuff about Michigan State. Like, hey, win or lose, like I always say, how about that Butler game? Can you believe that, right? So when they win, I give them credit. When they lose, I badger the hell out of him. And he knows that. He comes in, he walks to the back every time he sees me. He just starts smiling. He's halfway down the aisle because he knows it's coming. Whether good or bad, he knows we're going to talk about it. And I think that there was maybe a little, people thought that I was, trying to, wolf in sheep's clothing here about like Michigan State. And I was saying it because look, I'm still a Michigan fan. I still have, my thoughts for Michigan State fans that want to constantly, every time something happens with Michigan, they want to constantly, bring it up to me. I don't really care about that. Like, it is what it is. This is me on radio. This is not me on social media. This is me on radio telling you my honest thoughts and feelings. Is that I asked the question because I wanted to know where you were at as a Spartan fan based on how the football season had concluded and where we were at with basketball. And you can be as upset with Tom Izzo about the beginning of the season, about the team, and they don't have a lot of the characteristics. You haven't seen it yet. You can be as upset as you want to. You have 2.5 decades of evidence that shows you that he's going to figure this out. So don't abandon ship. Just hang on. Put your life preserver on. You're going to be fine. We'll step aside. We're going to jump back into signing day next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for Urban U. They are Michigan's favorite med spa locations throughout West Michigan and also on the east side of the state in Northville. And this is for any guy listening right now or lady. If you want the perfect holiday gift for somebody you care about, you need to think about the holiday specials happening at theurbanu.com. That's theurbanu.com. And for the holidays, Urban U is offering holiday tiers. Until December 30th through the end of the year, purchasing a holiday tier is the perfect way to treat yourself or that person in your life that you care about or your family. And you get your holiday gift shopping done quick at theurbanu.com. And what are holiday tiers? Holiday tiers are the best way to get rewarded big time for investing in your health, wellness, and beauty services. Simple and easy. If you want to take care of everything for the holidays, go to theurbanu.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. In the NBA, the game can change in an instant. You know this, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable. With 24/7 support, you can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only, physically present. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. All right, we're going to jump back into signing day here as the grades have come out. Now, this may be right or wrong of me to admit to you. I loathe high school recruiting. I cannot stand it. I think that it has become something that it wasn't, and even back then, you know, I get for the young person, it is exciting. I don't like what social media has done to it. This old man yells at cloud, I guess. But, you know, I miss the days where kids would just go pick a college and, you know, prior to even, you know, the hats on the table and picking up whatever hat you were going to go to. Like, you had your offers and you just made your commitment, and that was that. You know, you just scored a touchdown and handed the ball to the ref. Yeah, it's boring, but it's just because part of it is I get that it's an exciting day, but you need to realize you're moving up a level and you haven't done anything yet. So you can be a 5-star high school athlete all you want. If you're not coachable, if you do something stupid, you're not going to be there for very long, right? We've seen plenty of 5-stars, Texas A&M, go to one school, think they're going to assemble some super team and flame out, not do anything, right? Then we see teams like Alabama and Georgia, even Ohio State, consistently bring in the 5-star talent. And, you know, depending on what position they're in, you could say, like, oh, they're really well developed at X, Y, and Z, really well coached. They're always in the college football playoff. Like, there is a correlation between best players available and winning percentage in college football. There absolutely is. The stars do, they do matter in that regard. That's not to say that you can't take a kid that didn't, you know, wasn't evaluated very well in high school, maybe was a 3-star in high school and hit a growth spurt. A lot of things can change. We're talking about your youth, right? So you could be a 3-star that can turn into an NFL player. Darquez Dennard, Kareem Hunt. I mean, the list goes on and on. You could be a no-star kid, be in the NFL. Cody Thompson, there's one. You might be like, who the hell is that? Plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Had one college offer. That's it. One offer. And now I was playing in the NFL on Sundays, collecting a check. So signing day was here. And right in the middle of everything, Ryan had a great idea about changing up the calendar a little bit and trying to get this thing, you know, wheeled around so that it works out best for the coaches and for the programs. Because I think that what we need to do is reprioritize the high school recruit. And I know that might sound a little difficult if a college coach was listening right now going, well, yeah, I could see that. But transfer portal, we have tape of these guys playing at the D1 level. Like, we kind of already know to a certain extent what this young man will be because we at least have some footage of how he handles. And he's been in a college system. So there might be some more value there. I once again think that the portal is supposed to be a way to supplement your roster. Right? What you need to do is get your protein and hit your food pyramid based upon your actual nutrient-dense foods. That's what needs to happen. Like, we have no idea about health and nutrition. None. Like, we are a global power. We are a first-world country, you know, arguably the superpower of the world, and we have the, like, worst nutritional habits in human history. It's pretty crazy. Like, we could be this far advanced and we don't even take care of our own health. Like, if you think I'm going to eat a lab-grown piece of meat, you are out of your mind. Out of your mind. We ate everything out of an animal. All of it. And now all of a sudden, like, that's bad, even though it's kept us alive for 30,000 years. Like, have your bean burger all you want. I don't care what you eat. Right? But what you need to have is nutrient-dense foods. You need to have actual digestible food that is rich in proteins, carbs, and fats. Those are the three pillars, your macronutrients. And whatever your physical goals are, you adjust your macros according to that. And you have to put in the work, right? What do you stay away from? Doritos. Why? You put a torch to Doritos, it'll light up. They're flammable. Stay away from Coca-Cola. Why? It'll clean the rust off your bumper. Little things like that, right? Little things like that. That actually are huge things. But sometimes if you are working on your diet, right, you need to add a supplement because maybe you have an iron deficiency. So you might take a pill that supplements your diet to give you more iron in your blood. And although I was lied to for years, beets do not contain a single inkling of iron. There is no iron in beets. For my entire life, I was told I had to eat my beets for iron. I didn't even know what iron did. Right? I had no idea. Like, what am I, anemic? I don't know, but I got to eat beets. So I'm sitting there eating this vegetable that's awful, tastes like garbage for no reason. Anyways, neither here nor there. Mom, you need to supplement your diet, right? Maybe drink a protein shake. Maybe a little light in protein, right? I kind of feel like right now I got little kid arms. My arms are shrinking right now. Why? I don't have time to go to the gym. It is what it is. I got to make time. I got to get back in there. Got to lift. Got to eat nutrient-dense foods. Got to drink a protein shake. Curls get the girls. Got to do more curls. So you supplement your roster with the transfer portal. That is supposed to be, your whey protein of your diet or your fish oils or magnesium or whatever the hell whatever you saw on the internet. And you're like, oh, it's a great idea, right? That's what the transfer portal is supposed to be. If you are going to the transfer portal and trying to build your roster, I've used Michigan basketball as this example, it's not going to work because it's only a short-term fix. That's all it is. That's all it is. And why is the kid transferring? That's if the transfer works out. There's always that gamble too. Sometimes you just have it's just a bad apple. It just is what it is. If you got to transfer multiple times, maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe it's you. Maybe that's a conversation you need to have with yourself. So we have the early signing day. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. The whole calendar's messed up. It's not an event. This is a debacle. We shouldn't have 2 signing days. Ryan is right. Wait till after the national championship game. Open up the portal window from there. The second that game is over, 12:01, boom. Let's go. There you have it. Send it. Transfer portal is open, and leave it open for 3 weeks. Put signing day in there somewhere. And then all portal players, after they've been in the portal, can be signed after signing day to recenter and refocus what it is supposed to be about, which is the high school kid getting recruited, right? I'm not worried about second chance you just because you messed up your first chance. I don't care about that. Like, let's get back to the high school kids and go there. Now, your top 25 as far as the 24/7 composite for signing day. North Carolina was 25, Kentucky 24, Missouri, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. Nothing crazy there. Nebraska came in at number 19. A lot of that has to do with the quarterback, Dylan Raiola. You remember Dominic, his father, played for the Lions for a very, very long time. He's the number 2 player in this cycle, top-rated quarterback. He had been committed to Georgia for a long time, decided the Huskers were the direction he was going to go. Very interesting, has a chance to compete for the starting job as a true freshman in Lincoln. And the biggest flip of the cycle, leaving Georgia for Nebraska. Interesting. But if he's as good, like, is he better than Arch Manning? I don't know. I think Arch is probably a little bit overrated. But he has the last name, so that works. If Dylan Raiola can bring Nebraska football back to something, just get him to an 8-9 win team, make him relevant, that would be huge. Huge for Nebraska. And also very good for the Big Ten as well. So I'm cool with that. Texas A&M in there at number 18. USC at 17. Michigan at 16. So even though Jim Harbaugh, 3 consecutive Big Ten titles, not in the top 10 for 2024. Now he's got a 4-star quarterback in Jaden Davis coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a Kansas City offensive tackle in Andrew Sprague. You know, that's kind of the 2 highlights. Average player rating was a 90.1, 26 commits. Who will stay? Who will go? Michigan at 16. Clemson at 15. Tennessee at 14. Penn State at 13. How about the Penn State Nittany Lions? It's great. You're going to have all these top 15 classes and never play in the Big Ten Championship. That's crazy. LSU is at 12. No surprise there. Auburn at 11. That's a little something. The first full class for Hugh Freeze and his staff. War Eagle. Florida comes in at 10. Notre Dame at 9. Oregon at 8. Oklahoma at 7. Miami comes in at number 6 in the country. Now we get to the top 5. Number 5, hook 'em. The Texas Longhorns. Texas is back, baby. College football playoff berth this year. Top 5 class going into next year. Huge. Great for college football. Great for the SEC. Guess who came in at number 4? The Florida State Seminoles. Wow. Wow. Very, very interesting. Florida State at number 4. I love that. Alabama at number 3. Yeah, whatever. Ohio State at number 2. And they were waiting on one recruit all day long yesterday, a wide receiver by the name of Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 overall player in this cycle. And, you know, look, Ohio State fans were going crazy. Said that the NIL and whatever was being held up, family members, who knows? You know, that's the other thing, but whatever. You can't fix everybody, right? You can't fix everybody. And so I don't know the full background and premise of the discussion being had in this young man's house. I don't know who Jeremiah Smith is, nor do I care. Maybe I'll care in a few years. Number 1 player in the country at his position, wide receiver, and overall, means that he is looking at an NFL future. Like, it's time to, that's what these kids are looking at. You're at that state, you're at that point of your life where as a 16, 17, 18-year-old going through your high school career, realizing I'm being recruited, this is who's sending the offer letters, this is where I rank nationally, I got to go to these camps and all this 7-on-7 nonsense and all this other BS. But I have a legitimate shot at going and play professional football. Jeremiah Smith is that. Could he be the next Marvin Harrison? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But he's going to Ohio State. And he waited all day, and they said that there was something hung up with the parents and that, or the family, they say. That makes me wonder too. Because I also think that with the establishment of a set TV contract and a salary cap, that it kind of puts it all out there, so there's not a lot of, or any of these backdoor dealings that I just don't like. I don't think it's in a good position for the player. Who's making what deal? Who are these parents talking to? And if the parents are, financially sound, and I don't want to paint a picture that these people, like whoever's parents are, don't know what they're doing. Maybe he's got a financial advisor in his family. That could be. But we've seen some of these NIL deals get a little crooked for cash up front for the return later on the pro contract. That's a little shady. Little shady. So this young man, finance classes. Finance classes. Find somebody who offers them and get your kids in them early and get them to understand money early. The sooner they understand the power of the dollar, the better off your children will be. And finally, the Georgia Bulldogs at number 1. No surprise there. What I like about these classes here, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Florida State 4, Texas 5, Miami 6, Oklahoma 7, followed up by Oregon, Notre Dame, Florida, Auburn, LSU, Penn State, Tennessee, Clemson, Michigan, USC. What I like about this, there's diversity. Texas A&M, still a bulk of them come from the Southeastern Conference. But you're still, the top 25, it's a lot. A lot of SEC, a sprinkle of Big Ten, and 2 ACC, 3 ACC at this point, maybe 4 in total. So you got 4 ACC, Clemson, Miami, Florida State. That's all good. What I like about this, UNC, sure the SEC is dominant with the Kentucky, Missouri, all of that stuff. South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, they're going to be heavy. USC, remember, USC and Oregon, that's 2 more schools to the Big Ten. That's awesome. It's good because in the top 25 of these recruiting classes, we are seeing a lot of the Blue Bloods traditionally back in the game, back in the fold. USC being back in the mix is huge. The disappointment of their season this year, that's tough. Oregon, that's huge. Texas, Oklahoma, Clemson, the Florida schools, all 3 of them. Florida, Florida State, Miami, all 3 of them. Awesome. Michigan, Michigan State, awesome. Penn State, Nebraska, whatever. Right? But Notre Dame, you're seeing some of these traditional powerhouses loading up, getting in this top 25 because that's what drives college football. That's what's special about this year's college football playoff. Even though they botched it, even though the committee got it wrong, it's still a really good mix of teams. Because even what we were going to try to substitute and replace according to, my professional opinion of who should be there and should be doing what, we can remove my own thoughts and feelings of it, and we can look to New Year's Day where you have Alabama, Michigan, Texas, Washington. That is so important. So you've got old school Big 12 footprint in Texas. You've got SEC in Alabama. You've got Midwest in Michigan. And you've got West Coast in Washington. Because for a solid 10 to 15 years there, this sport was way too regional. Way too regional. And it alienates a majority of the country that is consuming your product. Right? It's like sending you down one aisle of the grocery store. Like, no, I'm in here. I have a cart. I want to get a couple different things. That's why we put bread on the opposite side of milk. Because back in the day, when people were living on milk and bread, you put them on opposite sides of the store so that therefore you have to walk around the store. And if you walk around the store, you're probably in there thinking about food. You're probably starting to get a little hungry. You're eating with your eyes now. You're buying more stuff. It's simple. It's better off if our grocery store of college football is chocked full of good products and not just all down one aisle. That's what I pulled away from signing day yesterday, is that the Blue Bloods and traditional powers and big-name schools are back in the mix, and it's a diverse portfolio of teams. Back with Hour 3 next.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Hi, I'm Casey. I don't just work at Meijer, I shop there. Get a $15 coupon like I did when you spend $150 or more this week in store. Print it at checkout, start redeeming next week, and get Meijer's Spiral Sliced Ham for 89 cents per pound with M-Perks. Discount automatically applied when you enter your M-Perks ID Limit 1, plus potatoes, green beans, rolls, and more. Then save even more with M-Perks with $1 off per gallon of gas. Get the same low prices, big deals, and great quality in-store and online at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Br0's Br0's the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good thirsty Thursday morning to you. It is the 21st day of December, 2023. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843, 868-838-4843. By the way, ticket clause is returning. But if you won tickets, check your email. Make sure you claim those, and we'll see you at the Quick Lane Bowl on the 26th. We'll have more tickets to give away coming up at 8:35 this morning as well. Let's get to Freddie, who's on the line, wants to talk a little bit about recruiting. Good morning to you, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, AB. I see ticket clause is still shoving those stockings, huh? Good for you, buddy.
Hey, man, we're going to stuff those stockings, Freddie. Let's go.
You're a good man.
Thank
you. One of my biggest, I don't get many thrills in a day anymore. I got a lot going on in my life. Anthony knows a little bit about it, but there's no bigger thrill other than my kids. No bigger thrill than when Anthony texts me during the day with just something random. It makes my day. I mean, the fact that he thinks about me during the day in his busy life, you make my day, Anthony. You really do. I mean that when I tell you that.
When Paris had told me he had never seen Freddie the Pizza Man slapped out like he did, and he was going in there for some goulash, and I was thinking about it yesterday, and I'm like, it's somebody had said, why don't you guys get like tablets or laptops? I'm like, 'cause they'd get destroyed in 4 minutes. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there probably is a way to do it that would be, but you'd have to have a dedicated person. Just that's all they did all day long, or dedicated people. So I took a picture of all the order slips that we had for Christmas, starting for pickups today. And I sent it to Freddie because I'm like, this is just like the tickets lined up when the place is busy as hell. The only difference is like, people can order ahead of time. You get so many walk-ins that it's just like, oh my God, it all happens at once. Like the bus came and dropped everybody off.
No delivery, no phone, no online. It's all pen and paper, baby. That's all it is. And I love it that way. The only thing that sucks, I got a credit card machine, but that might go away one day too. But we'll see how that works out. So, gonna cause an accident here. These people are trying to cut it over here. Okay, so now I want to get serious. First of all, in case I don't call tomorrow, Merry Christmas to you, Anthony, you and your family. And Ryan, Merry Christmas. Ben, Merry Christmas. A New Year's wish for me will be hopefully Ryan gets a mic so we can hear him once in a while. It's good that when your network goes haywire, we hear Danny once in a while. I like that. We still get to hear him once in a while. So Merry Christmas to you. And Anthony, your posse that follows you that don't like me, Merry Christmas to them as well, too. I wish you all well and a Happy New Year from the bottom of my heart. Now, on recruiting, here's the issue. I get college coaches that come to my place all the time. I get to talk to them and talk to you once in a while. The issue is for me is that these players, it doesn't matter where they go anymore. They go somewhere, they sit for a year or two, and then they go somewhere else, and the coach that gets them kind of benefits from them redshirting somewhere else, getting that development, and then coming into their place and kind of ready to go. I don't think that's good for college sports. I hate that. That's the worst part for me, Anthony. It's not fair to these coaches.
It's not fair to the coaches. And, there was a quote, I don't know who said it, if it was Matt Rule or whomever said it, but like, no, it wasn't Matt Rule. It would have been PJ Fleck said this during the Quick Lane Bowl when I first asked him about, trying to manage, getting your team ready for the bowl game while dealing with NIL and the transfer portal and everything else that college sports are bringing to the table right now. And he said the big thing for us with the transfer portal is, are you making a decision for the next 7 months, or are you making a decision for the next 7 years, right? And we want to be a good decision. We're looking for the right guys that fit our program that want to be here and not somewhere else. And I feel like a lot of it, we get some buyer's remorse. It happens, to all of us, right? It could be any purchase you may make, but that's what I feel like we get a lot of with these young kids is they get fed a whole bunch of stuff throughout the recruiting process. They get on campus only to realize that, hey, everybody here is the best player from where they came from. And that could be shocking for a lot of guys. Some guys step up to the plate, and those are the ones that, carry on with their lives. Other guys can't handle it, and for whatever reason, maybe it wasn't, what the coaches told them that it was going to be. Maybe they don't like their teammates. There could be a plethora of reasons, but instead of working through it, everyone's looking for that easy button because everyone believes that they're all going to walk in day one and be a 4-year starter and set every record. That's just not the case. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Like, all the guys that are sophomores this year, they were all freshmen last year that came in with that same mentality, and we're losing some of that desire to want to figure it out and make it work and compete for it. And that is a problem.
Yeah, I'm sure there's there's some cases where you go somewhere, it just you made a mistake and you kind of wish you could go elsewhere. I mean, 30 years ago when you had to go in somewhere and you really couldn't go anywhere, it was different. I'm sure some kids did get stuck, but the problem I see is a coach puts in a lot of work for a year or two with you, and then you just split in the middle of the night and you go elsewhere and you contribute for another coach, and then that coach might lose his job, right? We saw this happen in Indiana. A few guys went from Indiana to Michigan, and then Tom Allen lost his job. He got paid millions to walk away, right? And I think the biggest thing for me, being an old school guy, is you just kind of touched on it, is I think adversity in life is the best thing that ever happens to you. I tell my kids all the time, your mistakes are the best things that ever happened to you. Your things that you think that could be wrong are going to end up being the best things for you. And when you face that adversity, it makes you a better person. It teaches you what you want to do and what you don't want to do when you face adversity. And I think these kids just aren't going to face adversity anymore. They're going to be lost when it gets later in life. And when it comes time to have a family and kids and get a job and work, and it's going to be a mess, And I think it's starting to head that way. I think it's going to be worse in 10 years. So I hope they fix it and take it from there. Anthony, have a wonderful Thursday. Is today Thursday?
Today is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, baby.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. See you later, buddy.
All right, there you go. Freddie brings up a really good point, though, because this is why college coaches make the money that they make, right? And I say this all the time because of some of my friends that work in the field. Like, they are more than head coaches, right? They are academic advisors. They are counselors. They are disciplinarians. They are parents in some cases. They're confidants. They are mentors. Like, they are wearing so many hats for 85 kids. Like, it's stressful. It absolutely. I mean, Tom Izzo made a comment the other day. Christmas break used to be a time where you worried about somebody committing what did he say, a larceny or something? Like, you worried about somebody getting popped for theft or whatever he said about stealing. And just the schedules are so different. They have so much more time. It's just it's really hard to juggle all of this. And when you add more to the plate, like NIL, pay for play, like the transfer portal, you are adding more to the individual coach now who is just trying to put a good product out there on the field. And when it comes to players, every case is different. Everybody's got their own individual story. I don't want to lump them all together, But like Kyle McCord going 11-1 at Ohio State, transferring to Syracuse, that should raise your eyebrows. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle.
1, 2, 3, top flight.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The bowl season has officially begun in college football with 7 games this past weekend and 4 games throughout this week. It all feels a little empty though, doesn't it? With the NFL, NHL, NBA, and college hoops in full swing, it feels as if we're all just waiting for the college football playoff to begin. This perhaps may be another real positive in the expanded playoff field. We could jump from conference championship games directly into the postseason, and that should help keep the energy and the buzz around the sport alive during this always incredible awkward time between the conclusion of the regular season and the beginning of the New Year's Six. Hopefully by then we're still focused on more of the on-the-field action than off the field, because the transfer portal has gone absolutely insane, and I think we all just want to see the games being played.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw. Every Saturday in December, select a lucky ornament from the holiday tree for the chance to take home your share of over $400,000 in prizes. It's the Snowfall Lucky Draw. Every Saturday in December, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI ThePizzaMan.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
You know, in the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub, and best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable with 24/7 support. You can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever, wherever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. Joining us on the horn right now, our good buddy covering the world of sports gambling. Use that promo code. Follow this guy on Twitter. Make a whole bunch of money, folks. Matt Kowal, find him on Twitter at MoneylineMatt8. He's under the weather, but he still woke up for us. Matt, how you feeling this morning? You okay? You surviving?
Hey, I'm getting better. You know, what's getting me through the week is definitely the Detroit Lions clinching that NFC North, okay? That's what's getting me through. That's what's bringing me to the people. We got to break down the Detroit Lions once again. We got to stay hot. We keep hitting every single week on this show, and we're going to do it again. I'm ready to break it down with you as always, Anthony.
This guy doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. I just gave you the NBA stuff, guys. Follow him. NBA stuff every night from Matt Kowal on his Twitter. I mean, think about the tuition you could be paying right now. All right, Lions and Vikings. A lot of hype here over the Vikings defense. Look, they're 7-7. I got no faith in the Vikings offense. Maybe I'm being a little naive here, but I think after the win at home, this one being at this time of year, this one being indoors again, it works out well for Jared Goff. I think that the Lions are all over Minnesota. Don't let them breathe. I think this is a blowout. I think we rout Minnesota. Am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all here, Anthony. I feel very good about this game, if I'm being honest. And, you know, when you look at the spread, you know, it's a Lions -3, which is, you know, it's a little bit surprising. You thought maybe it would be a little bit more against the Minnesota Vikings team, who, like you said, is 7-7 on the season. But at the same time, the Minnesota Vikings do have a lot riding on this matchup. But I really don't think it matters because the Detroit Lions have even more riding on in this matchup. If they win, they clinch the NFC North for the first time since 1993. That is enormous for the Detroit Lions. I don't really care about the Minnesota Vikings and potentially keeping their playoff hopes alive. This is about giving something back to the city of Detroit for the first time, like we said, since 1993. I think there is far more behind this Detroit Lions team at this point in time. I'd be very surprised if they went into Minnesota and didn't cover this -3 spread. You know, and the handle shows it too. You know, I like to say where the money's at every single show. 85% of the money is currently on the Detroit Lions and 15% going to the Minnesota Vikings. But with that being said, this is something we've become very accustomed to. The Detroit Lions, in a way, have become America's team throughout this season. People love betting on the Lions. The viewership for the Lions is through the roof on top of that. And, you know, it's easy to understand why. This has become a very exciting team, potentially the most exciting team throughout the entire NFL. And to your point, Anthony, a lot of me with the Detroit Lions and how I perceive their game does go by the stadium. And I know that's kind of sad because, you know, Jared Goff is outdoors in comparison to indoors and stuff like that. But we're playing in Minnesota. That is an indoor turf stadium, and that's where you get to use guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's where their agility, their in and out of cuts, stuff like that, that's where it becomes a huge factor. You know, we saw last week, we did discuss Amon-Ra St. Brown on the show last week, along with Sam Laporta, who did have 3 touchdowns, I might add. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to do this again. You know, his over-underline is 77.5 yards against the Minnesota Vikings here. I really love the look of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I think that's how we do get the Minnesota Vikings. You know, this Vikings team does have a fairly stout rush defense. And, you know, with that being said, the Detroit Lions do have the ability to beat anyone at the line of scrimmage.
But I think the way that we do get the Minnesota Vikings here is through the air. They rank 17th throughout the NFL in terms of pass defense. They're coming off a game where they gave up 258 yards to the Cincinnati Bengals in an outdoor stadium on top of that. So I think Jared Goff comes to play. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown comes to play. You know, that shellacking that we gave the Denver Broncos last week was exactly what this team needed, a 42-17 absolute beatdown. We definitely have our confidence back. We have our swagger back. I think we go into Minnesota, and I think we definitely show this. One thing I will say, though, you know how I like Amon-Ra St. Brown on our side? I kind of like Justin Jefferson on the other side. You know, he's going to be 3 games returned since injury. It's one of those spots where, you know, you're kind of just running the numbers and playing the statistics, where he's due to go over his prop line at some point. And, you know, it is an indoor stadium. Like I said, quickness, agility is going to be a huge factor, and that's what Justin Jefferson is. Although I think Justin Jefferson can have a solid game against us, I do not think the Minnesota Vikings cover this line. So my favorite plays in this spot, however, are going to be the Detroit Lions -3, and I love Amon-Ra St. Brown over 77.5. And if you're looking at this 47-point total, I'm definitely not playing this, but I actually think that this could be a little high. I think there could be more field goals in this game than some people expect. So I would actually look to the under there, but my favorites are the Lions -3 and Amon-Ra St. Brown over 77.5.
It's all about the Sun God. What about Sam Laporta? This is an interesting matchup here between he and TJ Hawkinson, right? The Lions trade Hawkinson to Minnesota. They go into the draft. They get this kid, Sam Laporta, who's been an absolute stud. The Lions could be the first team in NFL history with 2 1,000-yard rushers and 2 1,000-yard receivers in the same season. Sensational. Talk about balance on offense. My goodness. Do we like Sam Laporta's number here?
It's tough not to always like Sam Laporta. You guys have heard me talk about Sam Laporta so many times on this show because for a rookie, man, what a safety blanket. That guy has amazing hands. He runs good routes. You know, when you line him out of the slot like that, he runs that quick slant like a Travis Kelce, like a Rob Gronkowski. Like, this is a tight end who is going to be around for a very, very long time. And, you know, he's definitely, in my eyes, I don't think it's too early to say that he has potential to be one of the greats. You know, he has that type of ability. You know, how often do you see a rookie tight end scoring 3 touchdowns in a football game? You know, it's incredibly rare. I don't even know if it's happened before. But with that being said, I do think because of last week, he may garner some additional attention. But the Minnesota Vikings do not have linebackers that fly around the field. You know, they're not amazing in pass coverage. Like I said, this is a team that ranks 17th throughout the NFL in terms of pass defense. They're coming off giving up 258 yards to the Cincinnati Bengals. So, you know, like we discussed, it's an indoor stadium. We think Jared Goff is going to be slinging it around the yard. And the more that we think Jared Goff is going to be slinging it, the more probability that someone like Sam Laporta and someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown are going to get those numbers. You know, that's what it all comes down to. It kind of comes from the top down. What do you think Jared Goff is going to do? How many yards are there going to be to come by? And then you're kind of taking a look at the player props to go with it and thinking that you think if they can be an adequate hit, essentially. And so for me, I definitely do like the look of Sam Laporta. His number is 47.5 again. It's the same as last week. He's garnishing a ton of targets. He's a great safety blanket for Jared Goff. And I think that's a good point, too, because DeAndre Hunter is or not DeAndre Hunter. Who am I? Hunter, the defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm thinking basketball right now. But he's playing great. He's getting off the line. He's attacking the quarterback. And if you have to check down quick like Goff could do, that brings Sam Laporta more in a prominent position to go over his line. So I definitely do like that look as well, Anthony.
Danielle, it's the same, you know, a lot of D's, right?
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter. That's what I mean. I didn't even say his name right, so it works out well. Like, look, and this is the number 1 scoring defense right now in the division, the Minnesota Vikings, and a lot of people kind of puff their chest up about that, and it's like, you know, that's fine that you guys have given up the least amount of points. You've yet to play the Lions, right? So you can give up the least amount of points that you want in the division as much as necessary, but you're going to get the Lions the number 1 scoring offense in the division. They've outscored Minnesota by almost 100 total points thus far this season. I love the Lions and all the Lion player prop bets. His name, Matt Kowalas. Find him on Twitter at MoneyLineMatt8. Matt is always my friend. Thank you so much for your time. Grab some puffs, grab some herbal tea, get some sleep, would you? We'll talk to you next week, partner.
Yes, sir, Anthony. I appreciate it as always. And real quick, guys, the bet of the week is once again the Dallas Cowboys plus 1.5 over those overrated Miami Dolphins.
There you have it. Hit the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? We're back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
When you shop Meijer, there's no shipping needed. Snow days or shipping delays won't stop us. Get gifts under the tree today when you shop thousands of items ready for pickup in-store today. Plus, get a $15 coupon when you spend $150 or more this week in store. Coupon printed at checkout. Start redeeming next week. Get everything you need for the holidays in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino, here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Golf season might have come to a close because it is cold outside. But warm up the Christmas season with a gift from Tullymore Golf Resort, the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort, located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's up north golf without the drive. It's smack dab in the middle of the state. It's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. So visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. Start planning your 2024 excursion. Or perhaps, maybe it's not even golf related. Maybe you're looking for a spot for a wedding, event, reception, group outing, corporate outing. You can do all that. The beautiful clubhouse at Tullymore Golf Resort, 1-800-972-4837. Couple of messages here. If I'm not listening at work in the mornings, I'm watching you bros while getting the boys ready for school. They get most excited when they hear the word pizza. Usually when talking to Freddie. That's from Nate on YouTube. Nate, we do it for the kids. It's for the kids. Robert on Facebook said, I heard from an NCAA rep that the schedule for signing day and the transfer portal is so the students have time to enroll and register for classes so they are all eligible for spring practices. Yes, that does play a role. The spring practice schedule can also be something that, yes, can be adjusted. It can be adjusted. Some schools, the spring game is a big deal, right? Like Ohio State will sell out their spring game. Michigan had a spring game a couple of years ago, and just kind of hit or miss as far as attendance. And then if you have a spring game or showcase or whatever, that if it doesn't draw well, you get ridiculed about it on Twitter. And you get Ohio State, they got 109,000 people there for this spring game. What Michigan have, right? It's like kind of like, well, do we want to do that? Is it worth doing something like that? And so when you think about, the timeline of everything, push it all back. Push it all back. The enrollment part in school, like, we have to recreate basically everything that we are doing from a calendar perspective. It's just like, I don't know how, like, I don't even factor school into it because I ain't here to play no school, in the words of Cardale Jones, right? And it's like, okay, so, portal kid, admissions, get all that squared away. How do you do that? Well, if you bump up the timeline, maybe we're not waiting until January 7th to have a national championship game. Maybe we're doing it on New Year's Day. There's a thought. Right? Maybe that's going to be our national championship after we take all of these weeks of teams that get a month off plus before they play another game. Like, maybe we do that. Instead of the 4 weeks of downtime, we just keep playing. Get through our playoff system and get that done. I'd say there's a lot there that comes down to it. The admissions factor and the academic portion of it. Like, yeah, it's a huge problem. Now, I did find it very interesting. And by the way, we do have some of these remaining right now. So let me just double check on the number of that. But I did want to get into this story before Ticket Clause comes to town. I did want to get into this story about Michigan being served their notice of NCAA violations, whatever this notice thing is. It's just this whole thing is just preposterous. And they get this notice on signing day. And Michigan received this notice of allegations from the NCAA regarding the alleged violations by the football staff during the COVID-19 recruiting dead period. According to a source, the Wolverines coach Jim Harbaugh faces a level 1 violation for allegedly not cooperating with or misleading NCAA investigators about the alleged violations. Michigan also faces 4 level 2 violations, which are considered less serious. Now, in August, we had the self-imposed 3-game suspension to begin the season and a 1-game suspension for Sharon Moore as a part of the negotiated resolution for his involvement. Okay, interesting. The Michigan infractions case is related to impermissible on- and off-campus recruiting during the COVID-19 dead period. This goes back to the cheeseburger gate, whatever that was. And for me personally, there is another, not only the kid that came on campus that he bought lunch, the cheeseburger, but the kid who they met via a Zoom call, I guess, and the brother has some sort of illness, and Jim Harbaugh was cheering the kid on, doing push-ups. I don't think, and I don't know if there's any reason to believe that there is any sort of malice in Jim Harbaugh. I don't believe that deep down, Jim Harbaugh is someone who is out there seeking to gain some sort of, because the Connor Stallions thing comes into play here as well with this. And I don't believe that what Jim Harbaugh, in his heart of hearts, is trying to do has any malicious intent. Does he want to win? Absolutely. Does he love football? Probably more than his own children. He's a different duck, man. He's a different guy. He's quirky. That's kind of why I love him, because he's not doing all the same stuff as everybody else. He is just unapologetically himself. And I could totally see a scenario where he's on a Zoom call and some kid's doing push-ups in the background and he's yelling about the push-ups. I can completely see that. He has a zest for life, a zest for the game of coaching football. Like, he loves it. Now, whether or not, the LA Chargers thing, I said this when, Staley got fired, that's a concern for me. That's a concern for me and for football fans in the state. If you're a Michigan fan, if you're a Lions fan, if you're a fan of both, that should be concerning to you as well, because the Chargers are a ready-made team that have a quarterback in place. They just need someone to come in there and right the ship. So Ben Johnson and Jim Harbaugh both. Now, the family that owns the Chargers, I kind of feel like that might be maybe a deterrent for Jim Harbaugh, but we'll wait and see how it all kind of shakes out and shakes down, right? For me, the NCAA serving this notice is kind of what Maurice Clarett has been talking about now for a while. And Maurice Clarett, being a Buckeye, he is Ohio State through and through. But he understands where Jim Harbaugh has been on the player revenue sharing, being an advocate for players. Now, it is interesting because I go back to, we got to protect kids from themselves. Yesterday, the number one JUCO recruit in the country signed with Ole Miss. His name is Deion Smith. He pulled up to a signing ceremony in a Lamborghini. Now, whether or not he bought that Lambo, leased it, or just borrowed it for the day as a publicity stunt, be careful of the animal that you are creating. Same thing with AI and robots and all this technology. Be careful what you are creating. Right? I'm not saying the kid shouldn't have a Lambo. It's not what I'm trying to say. I don't care if he drives a Lamborghini or not. It does not matter. But if somebody handed this kid a bunch of cash and he went and spent it all on a depreciating asset that is a Lamborghini, you're not fixing anything. All you're doing is paying. Right? And I joke around a lot about, we're not here to play school. The lessons that you learn throughout the course of your adolescence and growing up are important. And for the number one JUCO recruit in the country to pull up in a Lamborghini, we are missing out on some of these lessons to be learned. Right? It is, like I said, if it's a publicity stunt, you're drawing way too much attention. You're too loud. It can only go downhill from here. Because I don't even know what position you play, Mr. Smith, but you better be an All-American. You better be an All-American. Because if not, you just wasted however many hundreds of thousands of dollars it cost to get that Lamborghini, or for whatever you rented it for the day. You just drew that spotlight on yourself, Deion Smith. That's a name I'll remember and I'll watch. And I'll pay close attention. Very close attention. You don't need to do all that. But it's part of the educational process that we're missing. Because everybody wants everything right now. And on the day that the NCAA serves this notice of alleged violations, these allegations against Michigan for the COVID-19 dead period, a young man pulls up to a signing day in a Lamborghini. The irony of all of it, to me, something stinks, right? And as we've been having these discussions and we've been watching all of this take place for years, right? Pay for play becomes legal. And now all of a sudden, man, the SEC looked a little interesting. Almost missed out on the playoff. Interesting. Interesting. You don't find that peculiar that the two coincide? Maybe it's just a one-year coincidence. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little off. We had a lot of SEC teams in the top 25 in recruiting. But pay for play became a thing, and now all of a sudden people are catching up. And so if you're mad that Jim Harbaugh bought somebody lunch, but you can't see a JUCO kid come in a Lamborghini, that to me is the basis of the problem that we have here. And that's why I bring up Maurice Clarett. I do think that there is a witch hunt out there. I do. I'm not, going full tinfoil hat. We've seen some other things happen in recent days that should make you raise your eyebrows. What's going on outside of the sports world in some different states to the west of us. You pick it up what I'm putting down. If you don't know, then you need to wake up, pay attention to what's happening. But it's almost as if once we get a villain, right, they're just going to go after him. To do it on signing day, to me, is a bad look. And I don't care if they would have served those papers to Ryan Day or to Mel Tucker. It's a bad look. You've had all this time, and you're going to wait till today. That's a thought-out tactic there from the NCAA. You can't convince me otherwise. That's the wrong thing to do. You could have done it a week ago, 2 weeks ago. You could have done it next week, but you waited for signing day to do it. That doesn't stink to you? That doesn't smell a little fishy? Interesting. So, Michigan and Jim Harbaugh have this now, whatever this is. I don't, self-imposed 3-game suspension. Then, you lose 3 games at the end of the season. The guy was there for half the season, right? On the field, that is. Still able to put together the year that they had. And this is why it is so important for your program to not be reliant on one person. No player is more important than the team. No coach is more important than the team. Right? It's about the organization. It's about the team. That's why our fan base is we don't attach ourselves necessarily to individual players because we know they can be gone in an instant. Right? Transfer portal, injury, free agency, contract dispute, whatever league, whatever player, whatever sport, it doesn't matter. But we attach ourselves to our team because our team, our organization is going to be there. That's who we are a fan of. You might be a fan of different players on different teams, but your team is your team. You are still a Lions fan. Amon-Ra St. Brown, do you think that that's probably the most popular player on the Lions team? Who do you think the most popular player is for the Lions? Amon-Ra, he's got to be up there. Aiden Hutchinson's got to be up there. Laporta's climbing the charts, right? And that's all based on production. We love guys that are producing. Flat out, point blank, period. You're putting up the numbers, we'll love you. You start to go Kadarius Toney, we hate you, right? And so when we look at that, if Amon-Ra St. Brown were to leave tomorrow, you would be mad. Just like you were mad at Barry. Just like you were mad at Calvin. You would be angry. And you would ask a lot of questions. You might be angry at the franchise. You might be angry at the individual. You'd have a bunch of editorial pieces and op-eds about why the player left and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, like, you're still going to be a Lions fan. Maybe when Barry left, we lost some fans. Maybe they've come back. I don't know. But you're attached to the organization in the franchise itself. And so when you build that, more people are attached. Whether Jim Harbaugh stays or goes, Michigan is still going to have their fans. Did they pick up some fans along the way? Yeah, sure, of course they did. Will they lose some fans along the way? Yeah, sure, of course we will. They come and go. It's like the seasons. But at the end of the day, the basis of Michigan is still there. Even with Rich Rod surviving that experience, even with Brady Hoke surviving that experience, Michigan football stayed what Michigan football was from a brand perspective. The product on the field wasn't very good, but the brand is powerful. We all know that. That's what I think really bothers people at the end of the day, is the fact that even when the program isn't good, the brand is still top tier. It's one of a handful that carries the weight that it does. Well, you haven't done this, that, and the third. It's okay. Like, we know. You don't have to tell us. We know. Our brand is still good. Like, it is what it is. Applebee's probably serves more customers than the Chop House. The brand of the Chop House is still good. Like, you know what I mean? It still carries more weight than Applebee's. It's the brand. And so as the product on the field suffered, I think that's where people got aggravated. And now that the product on the field has picked up, 3 consecutive Big Ten championships, 2 back-to-back undefeated seasons, a very loud and outspoken head coach about players' rights, about players' benefits, about revenue sharing with players, something that the NCAA has basically had to wave the white flag to, because they know that in a court of law, they are losing. They have a massive lawsuit on their hands right now, billions of dollars that they can't, like, no one's even talking about, because it's like, well, look over here, Jim Harbaugh with this cheeseburger. If you want to get me on the principle that he violated the rule and he should have known better, and if the kid came to campus and he was like, you want to go out to lunch and he should know better, that's fine. If you want to get me on the principle, that I understand that. You can't have it both ways. It's either right or it's wrong. He's in the wrong. He's going to be punished for it. I'm not denying any of that. This is why he served the 3-game suspension at the beginning of the year, to try to lighten this load when this final blow comes in and the NCAA goes for the jugular. At the same time, I am well enough aware to understand that a rules violation is a rules violation. However, there are bigger fish to fry. And as long as the NCAA can keep kicking the can down the road and point the spotlight at somebody else who now is a common villain amongst a lot of football fans across the country, it works for them. Don't talk about revenue sharing. You're not going to talk about this. You're not going to talk about that, because if so, we're going to stick you with this charge. Where else have we seen that? Interesting. We'll step aside. We will not be live tomorrow. We're giving everybody the holiday break, so we are off tomorrow. You'll still get the show. It'll just be a condensed form tomorrow and Christmas Day. Enjoy it. Merry Christmas to all of you. We'll talk to you Tuesday morning here on X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
It's as easy as 1, 3. Wait, that's not how it goes. It's 1, 2, 3, like this. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to remember, always wear your seatbelt. Make it part of your routine. Just like that. Got it? Seatbelts save lives, and using them is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.